Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Erica Chanel, and we got some stuff to talk about. I'm gonna wait till some of you guys get in here, put some hotel music on. The Nolan Wells case is getting a little crazy. I think there's two big sharks going at it. You know what I mean? But still trying to keep their loyalty because obviously one party may have done stuff and the other party may have done stuff. You know what I mean? I think it's too big. Whoever it is, it's the old school Negro, not Negroes, but the old school YT pale face. They're going at it now. And I think we're going to find about if Nolan case take a break, take a massive break, right? We're going to hear about other things that happened that they were keeping secrets about. I'm telling you guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, good evening. Good. I worked all night. Both sides of the business. Just opened up the school. Thank you, Jesus. Sorry about that. I was on mute talking my ass off. This is my 10th live. Getting pretty good. I just never been on this early. Please like the live. It's you, Non Lemon, and Withheld pretty castles. Hey, because he's been going at it. Been real funny, boy. You know what I mean? You know, it's sad how we could take something so a tragedy and still have not like a laugh, but we have jokes throughout the way of the pain that's going through, especially this family. You know what I mean? I'm so happy. I say Camilla Anthony. Lord Jesus, I pray to God that He hear him get back in court. But this family, Nolan Wells, she's one of the strongest women that I ever seen ever. She's keeping her composure about everything, everything. But let's see what they got to say. Let's see what the see. I missed yesterday, so let's see what's going on in the streets. They said autopsy results came in. We don't know if they're gonna tell the family next week. I don't know why they wait to Wednesday. Um, we have a lot of big fish involved: doctors, lawyers, attorneys, judges. Not saying they did anything, but come on, bro.
I respect that. Um, and I spoke to the mom watching Uncertain, your pod, and you have been following this Nolan Wells story, doing a great job on it. It's captured the hearts of the nation. But I want to ask you, you went in on Brandon Tatum, and I spoke to the mom today, an exclusive interview. This is what she had to say about Brandon Tatum. So when you talk about all the things that have been spread, there is this officer, I hate mentioning his name, a former officer who is a far right wing, who's been doing the interviews and has been saying, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not even going to comment on Brandon Tatum. No.
I respect that. And that's the right answer for everybody, I believe. And I feel like, because I mentioned him, I'm like, why did I even mention him? Because he doesn't deserve a platform.
No, he does not.
Okay, so I can understand why the mom doesn't want to, but DL, you had some choice words for him. Why is that?
Well, I think he's indicative of the unremarkable black man that the right adores. They pick black men like they pick dogs, things that make them comfortable. I think Brandon Tatum was an officer. He was a failed football player. That didn't work out. He was an officer in Tucson for 6 years. That didn't work out, and now he's an influencer. And I think what his stock and trade seems to be is no matter what black person is involved with what, to automatically take the other side. I've heard him denigrate Harriet Tubman. I've heard him denigrate Rosa Parks. And so this is par for the course. And I think the sad thing about a man like him is they make you keep your title. Like whether you're Sheriff Clark or, whether you're Colonel Moore, Adams, or whether you're, they always make you keep your title as if it gives you more gravitas, more weight. Now, the one thing that Brandon Tatum isn't is a detective. he didn't call himself Detective Tatum. And the only black person that they don't think that their formal title gives them weight to is President Obama. They don't ever call him President Obama. They just call him Obama. And I just think Brandon Tatum is this is a true story. I'm not even trying to denigrate this kid, but he's the kind of unremarkable man. The only reason I know who he is because I got a coon alert, literally, and it was him. So I think he is a failed football player, a mediocre. It was a mediocre cop, and it's been wrong pretty much. Like he is the guy who thought Sandra Massey, and by the way, her murderer, the police officer who murdered her in Ohio, came up for parole, and it was denied, or probation. It was denied today. But he thought that Sandra Massey acted so suspiciously that it was tantamount to her death warrant, that she should have been killed. Ironically, he doesn't think that any of these boys acted so suspiciously that they should be questioned.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned someone who has qualifications and should be called as President Obama, but when they call him, you're right, they don't say President. Either say Obama or Barack Hussein Obama, right? They make sure to put the emphasis on Hussein. Let's talk about that word, because I said, as I responded to him, my response to him was, some things just fall in your lap. I don't even have to deal with it because my friend D.L. Hughley has dealt with it on Uncertain, and I played your response. But the word that you said that you got that coon alert is what I've been hearing from a lot of people, and not just black people. And I said, I don't think he even sees himself, or maybe he does and he doesn't care, DL.
Well, here's the thing. It's always somebody in that role. He'll go the same road as Candace Owens or Larry Elder or Armstrong Williams. You never see that they don't have a long shelf life because they all repeat the same things. Their job is to I call them fabuloso, because all they do is take the stench of white people's racism. So they can call them niggeloso. I just think that their career will age like avocado, because their stock and trade is being able to say is to give credence to white lies. And I think for a man that doesn't, the only time that man thinks that racism is involved is when somebody says something he thinks is racist, or if it's racist towards him. So either it doesn't exist or it does. No one is saying, by the way, we couldn't know what happened to that young man. But I do know this, that black people are right to be suspicious of Mississippi. They're right to be suspicious of Mississippi. It took 31 years for Medgar Evers, killers to be brought to justice. It took, they've been systematically poisoning the black people of Jackson, Mississippi since the 60s through their water supply. A 1-year-old boy was killed not even a month and a half ago, and we don't know what happened there. There were 215 black men that were discovered in a pauper's grave behind a sheriff department in Mississippi in 2025. There was a FedEx driver that was shot at by a father and a son, and the judge dismissed the case in 2025 without prejudice. As a matter of fact, Mississippi just abolished slavery within the last 15 years. So we're right to be suspicious of people who are dubious when it comes to black lives.
Mm-hmm. And it's suspicious of the system they operate in. And you said it's not to say that those young men did anything, but you're talking about the state of Mississippi and the history. And the history will show you, right, determines partially and a lot, in many ways, the present.
Yes, I don't think that Mississippi has an interest in improving or disassociating itself from that image because they're acting so familiar. I don't think anybody. I think the only reason we know anything is because black people hadn't let it go. I think you because Ben Crump and Al Sharpton are there, brought a lot of attention to it. I think you have the black woman in Texas who scrubbed the audio so we could hear what they were saying to Nolan. I think the mother and her sister had to find his phone. So black people have done the leg and detective work and keeping this in the forefront. You really trying to tell me that Mississippi, that if there weren't so much attention brought to this, that they would be acting with any level of alacrity? They wouldn't. I firmly believe it. And the one thing, I don't know whether those boys had anything to do with that or not, but I think the problem that I'm having, and I think a lot of people having, I don't know who did what to who, but I know there was not one friend in the bunch. Not one person was a friend. Not one was a friend.
Yeah,
They call themselves teammates. They call themselves teammates. They can call themselves. They can call acquaintances. They can say we were cool. They can never. Not one of them. There was not one friend in that boat, in that space, or on that island. There was not one friend.
You ever look around at the way the world works and you think, now, who designed this mess? People work harder, they pay more.
Well, when you say that, you're right. I guess we're old enough. We're men of a certain age. And I'm glad you brought up to Brandon Tatum. Like, you've been doing this for 40 years. Everybody knows who you are, and your career is still going strong. Because I'm out with you. We're filling arenas. So I think, enough said. That's the case closed right there. But there's a difference between an acquaintance or someone you know or you're friendly with than an actual friend. Because DL, if I was on an island and you didn't have a way back, I would say, dude, you need to get your ass on this boat because we got to go and you don't have a way off, right? I'm going to make sure you're in there.
I remember years ago there was a drunk driving commercial and Stevie Wonder was doing it, Don't Drive Drunk. Remember that? Remember Stevie Wonder had that? Stevie Wonder, he'd have drove home before he left you there by yourself.
Stevie Wonder could see that they weren't friends or what an actual friend is. But so considering all of that, why doesn't this former officer guy see that? Why doesn't he know the history of Mississippi and he know the natural suspicion that people have of Mississippi? Let me just get this in, DL. The natural suspicion that people have of Mississippi and what it means. You know what a pick-me is, right, DL?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so why would they choose that black guy to go in to defend them? And why would that black guy go in on a story like this, the only black to defend white people? I think that also speaks for itself of something else that's that's at hand here.
A big black strong dude, if he ain't on the football field or running a play on the football field, he's running his mouth for them. The only way that they're going to talk to him out of all the people is because he made them comfortable. And even the things that he said, even with Nancy Grace, you have Miss Rachel and Nancy Grace, Nancy Grace has been a successful prosecutor. She's prosecuted over 100 felony cases. She sees something there, and Brandon Disgrace doesn't see anything. So I think it is what he is. This man doesn't think that Charlie Kirk ever said anything racist. My prayer for this dude is that nothing ever befall his children, but if it does, he doesn't have to deal with a black man like him.
Let me play this real quick since you mentioned it. Roll it, Andy.
Have the friends taken polygraphs?
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph. And from what was told to me, that they all passed. And all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer. And so, and they cooperated with law enforcement. So from my understanding, everybody took
Why
a
do you say
polygraph
that's
test
from
but
what you
one.
understand? Did they tell you they took a poly and
They
passed?
told they yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there, so that's what I'm saying. From my understanding, they told me that all the boys except one, which is Warren, I believe, took a polygraph test. All of them did not have lawyers and did it and cooperated with police. Warren also cooperated with police. I just believe he didn't take a lot to take the test, but Warren is the young man that I interviewed. So according to what they told me, they all took a lie detector test and passed. And it's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's not a traditional lie detector test, but it's the same theology of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's a different methodology. Yeah, I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to analyze if the people were telling the truth or not.
Did they take a polygraph would be no.
No. Thank you very much, Nancy Grace. Okay, so but he came back and said, no, it was a voice stress test or whatever. But I mean, he looked like an idiot right there. Yeah.
Well, he looks like of course, Nancy Grace. Brandon Tatum is used to being owned by white people. So that was par for the course. I think it's interesting that he was willing to take the word of these people to tell him what they had done and not. And was so willing to believe he is spreading the rumor or saying that he has 100% proof that Nolan took cocaine. And so the same people told him they took a lie detector test. I obviously told him about cocaine. That's the thing. When you die, when you're black, when you die suspiciously, you don't just die once. They kill you over and over again. They kill your character. They kill your dreams. They kill people's idea of you. It is a mass murder because you die more than once. Ultimately, and even if they do find alcohol or drugs in the system, I guarantee you he got it from the white boys on that boat. I guarantee you he did. He didn't own a boat. He didn't own one of those. So this is all this woman wants and all everybody wants is what happened to her son. She wants to know
what happened to her son. But look, you bring that up, and I spoke to the mom in an exclusive interview, and she talked about, you said that they kill him more than once.
Yeah.
You believe that, or at least reputationally, but I understand what you're saying. And you're saying that Brandon Tatum is having a hand in that sort of reputational damage that they're doing. The mom responded to that. Watch.
We've seen this before, right? Pattern recognition. We've seen this where things have happened, especially when we talk about the Black community. And, after the death, it's a smear campaign. It's, what can we find out about this person? What can we say? And, that's something, my family and I, especially my husband and I, we definitely do not appreciate. But, we can't fight everyone that wants to have an opinion. But also, too, it's part of society that has been allowed to occur, which is it's gut-wrenching at best. Because if you were in our situation, how would you feel if there were millions of people who are saying, oh, hey, well, he was at an island, he was heavily drunk. And again, even with the drinking, there are so many conflicting stories, only because I have spoken with adults who knew Nolan very well, coaches that were out there. One in particular, I think he told me he saw Nolan somewhere between like 2:45 and 3:30. He was like, Christine, yeah, we talked for a while. We talked about college. We talked about his life, his plans. And he was like, he was perfectly fine.
So she's saying it bothered the coach, but she's saying it's bothering her. But my thing is, what do you think teenagers are doing on their senior trip?
Of course, hey man, let me tell you something, man. If you're gonna get drunk and get high, you're supposed to do it when you're young. You're supposed to do it when you're young. That's when you make mistakes. I'm not advocating for that. I wouldn't be shocked if he had drugs in his system. I wouldn't be. But I think that it speaks to where we are as a society right now. We know what was in his system before we know what was on their phone. We know more about him, and it's always the case. I don't care what happens. Why do I know what was in his system before I know what was on their phone or who they talked to or where they were located at? And every story those boys tell looks like an adult told them to. Everything they say. Like how do you make these calls? Those conversations, those dudes are those dumbass teenagers not bright enough and sophisticated enough to say these things. They know damn well they kept that phone because a phone is a record. It's a technical record. is it puts dates and places and things in proximity to other things. They know it. The parents know that. And then Brandon Tatum is going on about how come they didn't talk to the parents. Because why didn't you call me? Why did I have to come get my phone from you? Why haven't you been interested in talking to the police? I know what it's like to lose a friend, and I know what it's like for people to not want you to go to that funeral of that friend because of all the things that could happen. But I know this: if you love somebody, if you truly somebody's friend, there's nothing going to stop you from seeing them all. There's nothing going to stop you from doing the best you can to make sure that they didn't die in vain. So either we need to change the definition of friendship, or accept the fact that no one on that island acted like one. Out of all the things that happened, out of all the motives that are questioned, the one person I know for sure is innocent. The two people I know for sure is innocent is that young man's mother and father. Everybody else, I have no idea about. But I know they want to find out what's happening with their son.
You brought up something I thought was very interesting. You said, and you can clarify it here because I'm paraphrasing. You said, why is it always Black people, and even in this case, who are pressuring people to get to the truth? Is that, am I qualifying that correctly?
Why did it take all of this? Why did it take multiple? When Natalie Holloway was missing, right? You remember that, right? One man's Natalie Holloway is another man's Nolan Wells. We saw that every single day, right? Nobody questioned their parents' motivation. Nobody wondered why her life mattered. Nobody talked about her being on a similar trip and what was in her system, right? We didn't do that. We, like everybody else, were concerned about that young girl and wanted her parents to get an answer. That's all we're asking. It's not an inconsistent thing to me. The way I felt about that young girl missing and parents being and the sympathy and empathy I felt for them, I think the nation owes that woman, his mother and father, the same thing. It was a national story for weeks. We knew names and dates and places and everything, and they turned over every stone, and rightfully so. And they didn't have the fatigue they seem to be exhibiting now.
DL, you look, I don't know people. We talked about our beginnings, friends. Then we fell out. I didn't fall out. You fell out. You fell out, and which is fine. I don't ever.
Why you always trying to make it seem like you better than me? Why you always trying to make it seem like you better than me?
Because I am. That's what I mean. You're just lucky that you didn't end up going to jail. That's luck. That's pure D luck.
Well, I tell you what, one of us ain't.
The reason I keep asking you this and I keep going back to it because I think sometimes, like I said, when people can't see themselves, they're too close. They can't see the forest for the trees. I don't know if that is on purpose or they just don't care that they're grifting. It's a click, it's money, or maybe that's just their mindset. But I don't ever remember you going in on any Black person. You may have your disagreements with them. You may say a couple words, but you've never really gone to do an entire show about it. I want to play this and then we can talk. Here it is.
Let me just say this, and I know people are going to clip this and get that, and I don't care. I really feel this way. I'm getting sick of Black people, right? I like the Black people like me and others that are conservative, that's smart, but the rest of y'all, I'm sick of y'all. It's hard to even want to be around Black people, to be honest.
I have never once, and I've had a disagreement with a lot of Black people that I've had disagreement, but I've never once had to make a video explaining I don't hate Black people.
I do not hate Black people. I know that people who are new to my channel and you see people out there making these videos, it's comical to me because I don't understand how accountability leads to hate.
You said you can't teach me, you can't make me hate white people. You said that.
You want me to hate white people. I'm not doing it.
My question is it making you hate white people? I don't want that at all. What I want to know is, who the fuck taught you to hate us?
America has a lot of religions and a lot of people who are not religious at all. So whose beliefs should the government follow? Well, none of them. That's the entire point. We're seeing growing efforts to blur the line between religion and government in public schools, federal policy, and public life. But once government starts choosing a religion or choosing religion over non-religion, somebody's freedom is going to lose. America recently celebrated 250 years since declaring independence from kings and divine rule, and religious freedom has always included two rights, the right to believe and the right not to believe. That's why the Freedom from Religion Foundation works to keep state and church separate. FFRF stands up for free thinkers, atheists, agnostics, humanists, religious minorities, and anybody who believes government should answer to the people, not to the church. Visit ffrf.us/Don or text Don to 511-511 to join or find out more. That's Don to 511-511, because the First Amendment belongs to everybody. Everybody's talking about those weight loss injections, right? The results can be dramatic. But for some people, the thought of giving themselves a shot every single week is enough to make them lose their appetite before the medicine even gets involved. And then there are the possible side effects, right? So what about people who want help losing weight but are not interested in injections? What about that? That's why doctors created Lean. Lean is a weight loss supplement. It's made with studied ingredients that have been shown to help lower blood sugar, support fat burning by converting it into energy, and help curb appetite and cravings. But Lean is not designed for somebody trying to lose like 2 or 3 pounds before the weekend. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created it for frustrated dieters looking to lose 10 pounds or more, along with a healthy diet and regular exercise. And right now, you can get 20% off and free rush shipping. Visit takelean.com and enter the promo code LEMON. That's the promo code LEMON at TAKELEAN.com.
You think he hates black people?
I think you can only judge a person by their actions. I think that the things that he says, the people that he assails, there's no discernible difference between the way he acts and I think that he gets this, the value that he has to the conservative movement is that I guess they believe he has some kind of pull, but he's eroding. And I think that when you look at the vast majority of people that support him or in lockstep with him, they don't look anything like it. It's like a prophet has no honor among his own. I remember he said he was a big fan of mine and you know what? You're supposed to not be a fan of mine. People like you are not supposed to like me. I would never have liked a man like that. I never would have had any kind of connection with him. And here's the truth. I don't mind. I have the same disdain for him that they have a basic respect for our lives and our situations. We don't have to come to the same conclusions about how we get there, but that we matter, that we're human beings, that some of the things that are unjust are unjust. I wouldn't have a problem with anybody. I despise this man. I do. And I'm not going to pretend like I don't. I despise him. I despise what he does. And I think that like everybody else say you're too good. I mean, like you shouldn't waste your time. I got plenty. I work out just to be able to hate people like him. I do.
I know. You get mad, DL. You talk about
I got plenty of strength for it, because for them to not think what they think, but do what they do. They make it easy to be. How is it that this young boy died and we bring up Chicago? How does that happen? Because men like that make it so.
Well, that's why I used your example, your video post as an example, because I have a tendency to want to take the high road, right? And you're like, no. Whenever you see me on a show and I'm like, I'm not responding to that, I'll take the high road. You're like, you better get your ass in there and fight. But you brought up a very good point that I noticed around the Charlie Kirk thing, right? Especially with this guy. And parole it. Here it is.
What is more lame than calling yourself the job you used to have? You're not an officer anymore. You were a football player who failed at being a football player. You didn't make the team, so you became an officer. That wasn't working out, so you became an influencer. You talked about emotion. What is more emotional than this?
The word.
You cried for a white dude who the people didn't even think you worthy to speak at his funeral. You said you wouldn't cry for your son, but you cried for him. That's not emotion?
So, DL, he's crying over Charlie Kirk. Does he not remember what Charlie Kirk said about black people, about black women not having brain processing power and pilots?
You know what? I think he does. I think he does. He reminds me of how when the master would pass on, the slave would be upset. And I think Charlie Kirk. I think that when a man tells you that he'd be more sad at somebody who he was a follower of or close to, more so than his own child. That tells you a lot about how he feels. So I think if he doesn't love his children enough to emote, why would he care about Black people? I mean, so.
Let's put the focus on the mom and the dad, because you mentioned you had advice for them and how they have conducted themselves and how we should be conducting ourselves, especially those like Tatum and others in the media.
Yeah, I think that it's almost like people forget that these are human beings too, and that they lost a child. And I think that it tells you a lot when every time something like this happens, the first thing they do is try to dehumanize whoever's involved with it. She's comported herself like a grieving mother and like a woman and like a humane person. And I think all she's asking for is answers, and respect. And I think ultimately she deserved that. And anybody who's trying to deny her that, I think is less than human.
DL, look, this more than anything, this lets me know that what we're doing across the country starting in September is really important.
Well, if you could stay out of jail, it'd be really important, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, I didn't want to bring up bad memories, but I'm just saying.
but I mean, seriously, what we're doing, because look, we're going to be doing this leading up to the midterm elections, and you know what's happening in this country, and you see what's happening with this narrative. And this, for one, shows me, obviously, we know this. Black people, white people, many of us, we live in two different worlds, and there's a lot of educating, and a lot of people want advice, and they want to hear from us. How are we dealing with this? And they want some advice.
I think that ultimately it shouldn't be this hard to be human. It shouldn't be this hard to feel sympathy for people. It shouldn't be this hard to want us all to be in a space where we can respect each other's right to exist. And I think that it's a shame that it is.
Are you looking forward to being on the road with me?
So much.
That does not sound sincere at all.
I can't tell you how much fun I'm planning on having. It's so cool.
DL and DL, we start. Look, if you want to go, it's DL Plus. I think it's DLPlusDL.com, or you can go to donlemon.com.
Let's get it.
Did you hear about how Warren Hudson, his stepmom, is a judge? And I think she came out with a statement and she doubled down that, Nolan, he chose to stay behind at the island.
Correct. And I guess it's just as that's why it gives me such leniency to discuss what I believe to be the case. If another judge who was his mother and certainly biased had the tenacity to issue a press release confirming her beliefs in what her son said, which is bias in and of itself. Not one time have I ever accepted as evidence or solid testimony when someone tells me, well,
I'm sorry, we've seen this. So I don't want to see this. He said, Nolan Wells, man, shut up. I'm sorry, you guys. I believe it's a Nolan Wells accused of using. Man, nobody want to hear that. He put that out there. He ought to be ashamed of himself. He just ought to. Like, it said Nolan Wells destroys Brandon Tate. Okay, let's go see.
But you can always count on a bunch of lies from these MAGA people.
I don't want to look at that. Y'all, good morning. Good morning. I guess the clock is. They're trying to prolong this for. It's election time, and I mean, you got to pick a side. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? You got to pick a side on who you feel that is right and who's wrong. Let's see what Keisha got to say. Come on, Keisha. I like old Keisha.
No sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Like Keisha.
I like your intro, Bo, but gotta skip.
It's like my song is playing twice off key. Just Hold on, y'all. All right. All right, I think I had a couple windows or something open because what the hell is going on here, y'all? Something is just acting all kinds of crazy. Think I may have had myself open twice or something. Let's cut that out because I'm about to run my. But I can. All right, give me a second. Where is that coming? All right, where is that coming from? Give me a second, y'all. I am still hearing myself like twice.
You gotta
Who
have
the heck is
that happened to me the other day. That was because you have
what's going on here? All type of problems, and I had something good for y'all, and it's acting cool. I figured out. Woo, child! I'm streaming from Instagram, but normally, what I should have did was muted myself on Instagram because if I don't mute myself on Instagram, then I can hear me, and it's like, who want to hear themselves talking? That's just too much. Woo, because I'm like, what is going on, y'all? Okay, let's get this party started. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you're liking the video. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that as well. Where are my comments at? Okay, there are my comments. Now, if you guys are new here, let me give you a few ways to support the channel. Obviously, you're watching the video. Go ahead and share the video, like the video. You can put your comments in the comment section. However, I just read them randomly. If you have something that you really want me to read, you just super chat it. Because when you super chat it, I can see it right away. Okay, you don't have to, but if you want me to read it, super chat it. Don't mean I won't read it, but at least I would see it because it's a lot of comments. So, okay, so just go ahead and super chat it. You can also donate by sending the super chat without a question. You just want to, send a super chat. You can do it that way. Also, you can donate now. I have Cash App at Lakeisha Keisha. I also.
Oh, you guys, shout out to YouTube from yesterday. The day before, y'all show love. Shout out to X, who's always in the building. You guys sit with me all day trying to binge watch so you can understand what the heck is going on with all this stuff. Shout out to Twitch, Kick, and also who else I'm on? Facebook and YouTube. So shout out to all you guys. Let's see what she got to talk. She has an hour of content. Let's go. Let's see what because she's been keeping up with stuff. So you guys just take notes or whatnot. You want to comment, do so just as well.
Have other ways here to donate.
Also, we
know that alcohol was there.
Hold on 1 second. And also, you guys, I am going to start working with cases of people, whether they're white or black, like women with same culture crimes, and you're not resolving. I'm talking to a lady right now, just waiting on her to send me some stuff. They're doing a case where the boyfriend, a young man met a girl. Yeah, it's crazy. We'll talk about that later. I'll wait.
Did you supply the alcohol to minors, Bart? Was it you? We have a lot of unanswered questions. There's a lot of stuff now that's pointing to him, and I'm sitting back like, oh, okay. So now they come out and say, I'm going to sue. We don't care. We're not going to stop talking about the case. You're not going to stop anybody from talking about the case. Nolan we believe he was unalived. And the CETO call is not fake. It's not a fake. So now it's the call is fake. The CETO is fake. Well, if it's fake, then sue the folks then. If it's a fake call, then sue the folks. The call is not fake. You can go right to their website and get the call. The only thing that you guys are seeing with the call is that people are working on it to see what was really heard, what was really said. And y'all listen, I don't even know where to begin because Do you remember the first audio engineer that came out and she said that she believed that the call that was released was actually edited? I don't know if you guys remember that, but she said that she believed that the call that was released was actually edited.
No data included.
We're going to get to the truth. We're going to continue to talk.
There's a guy, he was a specialist. I didn't get his name. He said that that's not the ending of that call. You could tell where they cut some things out. Like there's more talking on that call. So obviously they have to get the whole entire call. So I pray to God they give it to him. Because they had no idea some of that stuff was being said.
Talk about this. Nobody cares about nothing you're talking about. The only people that is so mad, and this evidence that I just saw, I said, "Ooh, it's starting to make sense." And I'm going to say allegedly because I got to get into the information. Do you all remember they kept bringing up the pool party, the pool party, the pool party? Y'all remember they kept bringing up the pool party? There is information that's real close to confirm that Nolan was at that pool party. Also, again, I'm going to say allegedly because I don't know if this is to be true, but it goes into a lot of stuff we've been hearing. The GPS, which is crazy because when I was looking at the GPS information, I said, this is really off. Did y'all know the GPS can be altered? I didn't know that. Well, I'm going to show you a video where they break it all the way down. I learned something today. I didn't know that you can alter a GPS, which is very interesting because when I was looking at the stuff that they provided, I said, I understand they made multiple trips, but even some of you all were saying in the chat, it was multiple boats. We need to get their location. We need to get their location. You're right. We need to get their location because it was multiple boats. This is a mass cover up. So I'm not going to give it much airtime, but of course we know that there's this thing out that says that they're going to sue Ben Crump. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Ben Crump, again, he can buy your whole life, if he wanted to. Ben Crump don't care. We don't care. We ain't stopping, okay? We ain't stopping. As a matter of fact, since y'all want to sue everybody, we turning the fucking pressure all the way up, okay? We ain't stopping, okay? Y'all been watching my videos, trying a lot of YouTube. Now I am going in, okay? I'm going in on you, okay? You don't stop. See, here's the deal with the white tea folks. They think that they can go out here and commit crimes, and because they did it to a black person that they can walk free. No, we're not letting this go. The autopsy is done, but why don't we have it? Why don't we have the autopsy, guys? And if you're new here, you just came in, if you didn't hit the like button,
You
please
know why we
go
don't
ahead
have
and
the
hit the like
autopsy?
button. So
Because they
we
know
want to
we're gonna-
dispel the lies that the seed told.
We don't have the autopsy because they know we're going to dissect the autopsy. So they don't listen. It's something about the culture of the people. And I'm not going to say just black people. I'm talking about people in general, right? When we want to turn the switch on, we turn that MF on. You know what I mean? If they put that thing out, we're going to make sure we're going to break it down. We're going to find holes in it. And they know we will. They know we will.
Call is fake, okay? Because guess what? The call is out and everybody done saw it. We heard it. And now it's, the call is fake. So the first engineer, she calls herself, I think it's that girl. I can't remember her name now. I cannot remember. Let me see. What is her name? Her name is, what is her name? I don't remember, but we've talked about her on this channel before. She breaks down that audio, right? And then they say it's fake. Well, guess what she does? She actually goes on screen and she show you all exactly what she did to actually lift the voices. She didn't add AI. She didn't do anything to that audio, only to enhance the voices. But then somebody else does the same thing. But this person decided that they wanted to remain anonymous simply because the white tea folks, the old crazy, the deranged people, they harass folks and do all the weird shit that they do. So this second person wanted to remain anonymous. And y'all listen. In this audio, you hear somebody, we thinking it was Nolan, gasping for air. Gasping for air. I probably shouldn't have said that because I probably should have let y'all listen to it on your own, but I'm telling you what I heard. You hear gasping for air, and it's something else that I don't want to say because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I'm gonna let y'all listen to it so you can listen to your own interpretation of it. But it's very much like hers. But again, she, as she stated, she was just trying to hear what they were saying. But this person also confirmed what she had did. I mean, they're audio engineers. Nobody has a reason to make somebody say something that they really didn't say. Okay? Get out of my chat. Because these white tees are going to prison, okay? If you consider that race baiting, I don't give a F-U-C-K what you feel. These white tees are going to jail. Now, if you think that's race baiting, you can kiss where the sun don't shine. I know you know what that means, right? So let's get into this breakdown where the lawyer for these liars, okay? Y'all, listen, I need to just take my notebook down and start writing the lies down. The stories and the inconsistencies, I'm just like, if y'all really didn't have nothing to do with this, why are the stories so different? But let's get into it.
Enhanced audio of the CETO call that purports to have a background conversation that is suggested sounds like people explaining the murder of Nolan. What is the legitimacy of the audio? The word Bart is in there, and I know real people with real platforms are pointing the finger at your client.
Yeah, so we don't see any legitimacy in a doctored transcript or a doctored audio that comes with a transcript, which is...
Okay. I'm going to let you guys watch this, but what he's saying is that the audio is fake. The audio is not fake. But of course, they want to put this out to the public because if they can get you to believe that the audio is fake, then maybe you will believe their narrative. Nobody is creating a fake ass audio. That makes no sense. We want to know what happened. Whatever happened, we want to know. So her name is Dat Girl Netta. Okay. Dat Girl Netta, which was one of the audio engineers, the first one that I saw that, kind of increased the sound so that we can hear it. She's just going to walk you guys through exactly what she did because he is lying. Okay. So this is their attorney, a lawyer liar. So she's going to walk you guys through exactly what she did.
CETO assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the West Tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. Connection.
Let me explain what you guys are listening to. So the reason why you can't hear the call, I will let you hear the call later. She is showing you what she did to enhance the voices, because prior to you guys, I showed you guys that video where the attorney said that it was fake. So the reason why you can't hear the call, because the ideal here is not for you to hear the call. We can play the call later. She is enhancing the voice, so that what she's doing is she's doing it live on screen so that people can see, because the attorney is lying, saying that the call is fake. So the idea here is to
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our Doge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hello! Let the fuck up! Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our Doge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hello! Let the fuck up!
They didn't say that.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our Doge pump stopped working. We're sinking.
So I don't want to play the whole thing because I know some people in the chat said they couldn't understand it. The whole purpose of this video, she's showing you how she's taking the existing audio and she's just raising the volume of it. It would be like if I picked up the phone and I was whispering and you couldn't hear what I said. They can enhance the volume so that it's able to be made out what was said. But this one is gonna make y'all just sick to y'all stomach. Now, what the original engineer is doing, again, she's raising the audio and she's doing a bunch of different things. I can't tell you what she's doing because I'm not into audio engineering. I'm watching it just like you guys are. But somebody else did something similar. And I want y'all to listen to this, okay? Because you're going to hear similar to what she said, but y'all gonna hear something else. I'm just gonna let the video play.
Since I've heard it, it's just really disturbing. I've really been struggling. It is the clearest, most enhanced version of the audio call, the audio CTO call that was released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. This is unlike anything I've heard before. Someone reached out to me and sent it to me. I have verified that this person is who they say they are. They're an audio engineer with 20 years experience. They do not want me to share their name. I do know who their name is. I do know exactly who this person is. I don't know them personally, but I was able to confirm that they are who they say they are. And what is coming out in this audio, it's really disturbing. So I'm going to play that audio for you, and I'll let you come to your conclusions as to what you hear and what it means. I heard it, and it is disturbing, but I'm gonna play it for you and let you come to your own conclusion.
I'm gonna stop it, y'all. Be prepared. This right here, this ain't good.
Of what you hear and what you mean, what it means. But before I play it, I want to read something to you that came directly from the person.
It definitely appears that he suffered. And I'm telling y'all right now, they feeling the pressure. They feeling the pressure. What happened to Nolan was not a mistake. Originally, because I'm a good old person, not an old nasty racist like some of them folks, okay? You know, you want to, believe the best, but I don't know how this could be the best, but I'm just saying, I thought, okay, well, something happened to them and they got scared. Oh, no, baby. No, baby, no. When y'all listen to this, wait till you listen to this. Prepare yourself to be sick.
Person created this audio. I spent some time with them on the phone today just to make sure that they're actually a credible source to do this. And in that conversation, I asked him, what did you do that's different from what other people have done to make the quality of this audio better? Because
let me just say this. If you come in my chat disrespecting people, I don't even know who you're talking to. But if I hear you in my chat saying you must be the dumbest person, I'm blocking you. Don't come in my chat disrespecting anybody. If you don't know how to have a conversation with people, just don't say anything. Do not come in my chat calling people dumb. Okay, I'm going to block you. Thank you.
I wanted it to be credible, and this person explained to me in writing what they did. So I'm gonna read to you their explanation, and then I'm gonna play this audio. Trigger warning. I'm gonna play this audio so you can hear it and come to your own conclusions. But first, it's kind of a long explanation, so bear with me. I'm gonna read this explanation that they give, and then I'm gonna play the audio for you and let you come to your own conclusions. So here's what he wrote. I am a professional audio engineer with over 20 years of experience. When I first reviewed the audio file, I realized that when I had on headphones, that the dispatcher's voice was only playing on one side of the headphones, and the caller's voice and their background were on the other side of the headphones, instead of everything playing on both sides like with normal music. It sounds like the agency uses either a gate or compressor or both, because the volume naturally goes quiet when there's no one speaking, but it's still able to record audio because the gate threshold isn't set lower to allow no audio when no one is speaking. This also means that the noise in the caller's background was loud enough to engage the gate to all this audio to be recorded, even when the caller is not speaking. This is actually the best way to capture phone calls for quality assurance. What this means is that you can hear the caller's audio and the background noises all on one side. So using the caller's audio as a starting point, this will produce something similar to Janetta's outstanding results, which I have repeated and can confirm that it's authentic. Additionally, when you listen to the call, there are a few instances where the dispatcher is talking and there's lots of noise coming through from the caller's return audio, meaning even though he's not speaking, whatever is loud enough on his end to be heard and gets recorded along with the dispatcher. What I have done differently was to focus channel 1, the dispatcher, and then selected any areas that I heard more noises than just the dispatcher. When I worked on raising the volume in these areas by applying gain, which is essentially raising the volume, this worked in areas where visibility, no audio can be seen. But the audio is actually there, but doesn't show up visually until you raise the volume. I did this individually on any area that looked blank. And I also applied this to areas that were simply low in volume, essentially making everything near the same volume level. Doing this reveals more of what was actually recorded. Absolutely no AI was used. Only normalize and gain was applied via iZotope RX. Not sure what that is. I'm not an audio engineer, but iZotope RX. No other tools were used. All basic audio programs have these two functions, and it doesn't falsely manipulate anything. It just raises the volume level. Now I have applied lots of gain because the voices are sometimes faint. So when more aggressive gain is applied, you start to hear the syllables in the words a lot better. Visually, the final audio file looks like what we would call as engineers too hot. But this isn't a regular recording. It's from a telephone, which only has a limited spectrum of sound.
Now, I hope you guys are paying attention to what he's saying, because it's really important. So
Normal audio, like from a lavalier or podcast mic, would not be able to withstand this amount of gain. This is something I learned when engineering music for major labels. Now, I primarily engineer audio for TV commercials, city and state initiatives, as well as podcasts and interviews. I also do videography to keep the lights on. In my opinion, the clips are still noisy and a lot more can be pulled out, but the intent was to prove these pieces of audio exist. I don't want any reward. I'm not curating an audience. I'm just rattled after taking the initiative to see what I could do and finding what is unimaginable. I was already nearly done with the entire call when Janetta released her work. And respectfully, I fell back because I had already released a few short clips. However, after Janetta's backlash, I decided to publish my full version of the call. I initially called Ben Crump's office before releasing a single piece of audio, but after a few days with no response, I decided to go at it alone and started releasing short clips and eventually the entire call. When I went back and I started refining my work because I realized I missed a few areas where I did not apply.
okay, guys, we got 4,000 people in the chat across my both channels. I really need y'all to hit that like button.
Gain and new voices and sounds appeared more clearly. This does take a while to go into each little part, but the results is something easier to listen to. It's not perfect, but I also know the law enforcement has a lot better forensic tools for audio iZotope RX. Surprised they haven't done this already. So that's him explaining what he did. I'm now going to play that audio for you that came from him doing all the things I just read. Again, trigger warning. This was really, really jarring, but here is what he came up with when he cleaned up the audio in a different way, as I just explained in what he wrote.
Be prepared, y'all. It's really disgusting. Here we go.
Oh my God, how far is the word coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles.
All right, y'all. Let me just play it through. This is.
Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just.
Is the M effort. Y'all heard it. I'm about to rewind it. This was not a mistake. What? And the interesting thing surrounding this is what I told y'all in the beginning. What we do know, or should I say, what we do know, because we listened to this audio, is that it was a bunch of people there. What the engineer said is that she can hear that the women actually said, let's cover this up. I don't remember the actual verbiage that she used, but This doesn't seem like any type of mistake. Is the MFer dead, I believe is what they said. Let's rewind it.
This was really, really in a different way, as I just explained in what he wrote.
How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
For someone to say I'm sorry, I had went away for a little bit. Let the video roll a little bit, right? Someone said if that's what was said, right? And we're gonna also say alleged because they're around here. I'm gonna sue this person. They don't need to be talking about me. Y'all, regardless to the fact, y'all gotta understand their life is destroyed. They could get old. Nobody will want to deal with these people ever, ever, ever in life. So they can play the switcheroo game, whatever they want. They will not never be able to do business outside of Mississippi. You know what I mean? Like, they need to figure out what their family does. If they family have black patients, brown patients, they need to stop them from going. They need to hit them in their pockets to whomever it is, whomever is involved, anybody. No name. I'm not gonna put a name out there. They need to start hitting their pockets straight up. But I'm finna let her get back. Keisha talking.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just thinking. I don't know. Like we're going down.
So what he explained, it was very technical. That's why I said y'all really have to listen to it. So I'm not gonna try to rehash what he said. Y'all heard what he said, but do you guys kind of see how it works with the audio? I'm kind of learning just by having the different people to do it. Is pulling out what you can't hear, but not using AI, because AI can really mix a bunch of stuff up. So now we can hear gasping as if oh, y'all, I just had this thought. They would not provide us with the throat. Is that why they didn't provide us with the throat? Remember, the second autopsy, they stated that they really couldn't do an autopsy because the throat wasn't there. And then to say it is the MFer, y'all heard it. This is why you seeing all of this. I'm gonna sue. Because they want y'all to shut up. Y'all need to be quiet. Y'all making too much noise. Y'all finding things out, okay? Y'all making too much noise. We're gonna shut some people up. We're gonna send them some cease and desist. Y'all need to know your rights. You can talk about this case as long as you want to talk about it. What you can't do is say, like, as a matter of fact, because we really wasn't there. But you can say what you believe, okay? Don't let these people shut you up. They want to shut you up because the truth is coming out. And I'm going to get into this bad. She ain't a sister, but it's this girl on TikTok. Y'all got to follow me on TikTok too at Lakeisha Keisha. I'm trying to be on TikTok, I'm trying. But baby, I want y'all to get into this because what this girl has revealed on TikTok, and maybe what she's saying is true because I have the report. Did you all know, because I just learned this myself, did you know that you can actually mess with the GPS to make it say what you wanted to say? I didn't know that. But I want y'all to get into her breakdown.
Timeline, I know how they mess with the GPS. I figured it all out. I figured out the lies that are based in truth. I figured it all out and I've got proof. But stick with me because it's going to be a long video, y'all. Now, I found a 15-page Marine Patrol report that had lots of little details that prove that the boys had been lying. So I've already shown how it 1:30 in the morning, the initial Lieutenant Odom with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office said that his deputies spoke with several of the friends who traveled to the island on the vessel with Nolan. And they said that he left in the company of an unknown female and that he chose to remain on the island.
So what was the next step? Did you guys ever engage with police? Or?
Yeah, so the first time I talked to police was July 7th. I talked to the lead investigator and I told my whole story top to bottom. Diary.
Before I continue to play this, please pay attention because she did exactly what I wanted to do. She's actually pointing out on the report the lies. She's pointing out the lies that he said or they said in different interviews, which is inconsistencies, inconsistent statements. But now we can hear Nolan gasping for air. And then we have a coroner that's withholding his throat, which would indicate if he was strangled. Oh, it's making sense now. See, y'all done turned the damn temperature up too high is what done happened.
I crossed every T. I told them everything I knew, every little detail.
Well, that's a lie now, isn't it, Warren? Because you talked to them at 1:30 in the morning that night. I mean, did you just forget to tell the cops about Katie? Because it's not like you didn't know it was her or you didn't know how to get in contact with her.
The girl that he was with, Katie, had text somebody that she heard people yelling, correct, Nolan yelling.
Yeah, and I have a picture of that. She texted somebody, and the next day everybody was panicking. Everybody's texting Katie, because she was obviously seeing Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to somebody the next day and said, this last time I saw him, he's really sweet. But she also mentioned that the last time she saw Nolan was when my buddy was yelling at him to get on the boat.
But Katie says that she assumed that she went on the boat after y'all were yelling at him. And let's not forget that the last time you saw him was 3.
Well, the last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. And Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms.
And yet for some reason around noon, the name of another girl who hadn't even seen Nolan in a year was given to the patrol to go interview, saying that she was with that group, not Katie. They also gave the name of a couple of other friends who they weren't able to get in contact with. And despite having a picture of a text message from Katie, funny how you didn't share that with Officer Tatum. Probably could have cleared up some stuff real quick, right? Now let's get to the data. Now, at about 1:30 on July 5th, they were doing a flight of drones based on the relation of the last known anchor position of the Atkinson vessel, which I have documented right here. 4:30, Officer Strickland contacted Jennifer Pyrone, who was Wyatt's mother, who told them that he had already spoken to officers earlier in that day, but they were happy to cooperate with any investigation. And she let this officer take a picture of the GPS. Officer Strickland observed the track line showing Pyrone's vessel location on Horn Island, then gave coordinates. I'm going to need you to remember this exact phrasing. It's going to be important later on. This was the GPS coordinates from the picture that the officer took, meaning that these coordinates had to be a different one that was verbally given over the phone by Wyatt. And you'll notice they're quite different. Now you'll notice that this incident report says the involved entities are Bart Edmington and Jerry Adkerson, not Wyatt. Even though Wyatt is 18, he should be on this report. And you could argue that they were just giving the names of the people that owned the boats, but somehow I doubt that 21-year-old Bart owns that boat. You'll notice on this report that 2 different pieces of GPS evidence were collected. So now we're going to go to the July 8th report where they came and they took those GPS coordinates from both the Adkerson boat and Bart's boat. Yellow is Bart, blue is the grandfather, Jerry. The same Jerry that called and canceled the sea tow as the sea tow phone call was being made. Now, mind you, this is 3 days after the police had come and spoken to the mother and gotten the GPS coordinates. Now, Bart had a germane GPS map chart plotter. Jerry's boat also contained a germane GPS map chart plotter. Now, I had to look up the difference between waypoints, tracks, and routes. So waypoints mark specific spots. Routes connect them in a planned order, and tracks record your actual path. Now, according to that GPS data, there is no movement from 11 to 4:30, but we know that that's not true. Warren has never been able to logically explain how they ended up so far away from the shore. Because according to him, he said at 3 o'clock, that was the last time he saw Nolan. Bart was trying to yell at him to get on the boat. His brother got into a fight, so he got his brother to come over there. That's when he saw that it was all sinking, because he said this.
There's a lot of people on, so that it drags water in. And eventually, I think over time, we were out there for a couple hours. The boat just started filling up with water. So I popped the starboard side hatch, and the battery the battery was completely underwater.
Yes, but according to Warren, he had just seen Nolan like neck deep cradling a girl at the boat next to them. So how did they end up in 31 feet of water at the 4 o'clock call? There's an hour in between that. If the battery is submerged, how would they even get away from the sandbar? You can see in the background of this picture, they are far away from people. And yet this GPS is saying that you were stationary the whole time. But why? Especially because we have actual fucking proof right here. We have the coordinates that Wyatt's mom gave them the second time, and the cop took a picture of the GPS. Compare it to the GPS coordinates in which they were trying to get a tow from. But what if I were to tell you that not only does a waypoint need to be physically saved on this exact type of GPS, you have to intentionally say, mark this spot, or else it doesn't automatically save. It records your tracks automatically, but those are just saved coordinates. And it turns out you can actually delete tracks. It's super easy. You just go into the main menu and you delete it off of your data. So why is this GPS data, which is right here, so much further away than what the GPS says it is later? There is no data included in that GPS report that explains them going from here to here, unless someone went in and deleted those tracks. Because they probably dropped that waypoint once they anchored, which would explain why Warren said they showed up at 10:30 and the GPS says that they showed up after 11. And so then it wasn't until half an hour after the canceled tow that they dropped another waypoint. And mind you, the exact same GPS was used in both boats, and Wyatt/Jerry's boat has the tracks and routes where Bart's does not. And again, it tracks it automatically. So you have to intentionally delete those tracks. And why did they do that? Well, it turns out Jerry Atkinson just so happens to be the owner of Ocean Marine Group in Ocean Springs and Gulfport, which is literally a boat dealer. So guess who's going to know that information? We already know Grandpa Jerry was in the mix, because the only way that he could have canceled the sea tow before it even started to head out is if Wyatt had called Jerry first and Jerry told him to call for a sea tow and then canceled it for him, which would explain why he couldn't give any descriptions of where the water was, how high was it. We know that the sea tow did not bring in the boat. In fact, Bart's mother came on Facebook and said that there are pictures from my son's boat of the boat about to be towed, which is clearly who is about ready to tow them here, as Wyatt is on the phone. I can tell you 100% that this is not a sinking boat. You can see Bart bringing them in this picture. But Bart was supposedly the one yelling at Nolan to get on the boat, remember? Why would he be yelling at Nolan to get on a boat that's sinking? Unless he was telling Nolan to get on his boat. And Warren accidentally explained what really happened with the engine. Whatever happened with Nolan happened on Bart's boat, allegedly, which is why all of Bart's information was deleted.
Listen, when I tell y'all the internet done damn near solved this case, this is why folks talking about I'm a sue. Because guess what? The person who allegedly did it, they on his ass, okay? I said this before. Bart's name, I said, why is Bart's name on here? I'm confused. Yeah, you threatening to sue because you want to keep people quiet, but man, go sit your ass down somewhere. We don't give a damn about your NFL career. If you committed a crime, we want you in prison for the rest of your life. Because judging from what we just heard on this call, somebody that seems to be Nolan was grasping for air. And I heard somebody say it's the MF DEAD. So we don't give up about your NFL career, ho. We want you in jail if you did this. So you talking about you gonna sue folks? We don't give a damn. We can sue folks too. Hello, let's sue. Let's get the party started. Listen, I need a few dollars. So, it would, I would be honored to sue a bitch. Okay. So this is what's going on, y'all. All of a sudden, I'm gonna sue. Don't sit your ass down somewhere. You want to sue? She breaks it down too, because allegedly this boy is playing ball somewhere. I think if she didn't say it, she will say it. But based on his schedule, and even what his mammy said, His man, and see, this is the thing about this case. When you lie, or with any liar, when you lie, you just lie. You're not thinking about what you're saying. But the people who's listening to you, they're like, no, that doesn't make sense. His mammy said, oh, well, no, Bart wasn't here. He was only, I guess, available during the 4th of July. She said something to that tune. I'm not quoting her or anything, but you remember the pool party photo? She breaks it down that Bart was there. It couldn't have been on any other date because that specific date, she says that allegedly he was somewhere else. So y'all see how all of these lies, they all working together. But guess what? People are starting to be just where they supposed to be. I'm not saying that he did it, but it seems like he did. And what she is alleging is that he was probably the leader of the bunch because he was the oldest. What is he, 20, 21 or something like that?
So here's what happened. Both this one and this one confirmed that there was a fight that broke out on the beach. Started out with him, ended up with Warren's little brother. His uncle says, we gotta go. They hop on a boat and they leave. He grabs his drunk younger brother and says, we're getting out of here too. 3 o'clock. This whole caravan is trying to get the hell out of there because they're drunk and fighting. Wyatt's boat was in such a hurry that they couldn't figure out how to put the freaking trim down, which caused the motor to overheat, quickly stranded them, and Bart had to come help them. The time that Bart shows up, something has happened between him and Nolan. They're all distracted trying to fix the bilge pump because it didn't trim down. The waves were crashing over the boat and into the bilge pump, short-circuiting it. During this, some people have figured out that Nolan is gone. Other people just think that he's passed out or something, which is why Wyatt calls his grandfather to figure out what the F to do. And as the phone call is being made, more people are figuring out something's wrong with Nolan. That's why they didn't start moving again for 30 minutes. They were coming up with a plan and figuring out how to make it work. Run out of time, but don't worry, I'm doing a follow-up to this video with more details, more information. And if you like my work, be sure to show your support. I figured out.
So she does a great way of breaking it down. So her theory is, you remember all of this stuff that was being said. Well, if something happened to Nolan on the boat, you know, why the other people didn't say nothing? The same reason they not saying nothing now. Like, we're still not getting anything. You know, this is what white tea folks do. If y'all don't know anything about them good old folks, they stick together. It doesn't matter if they did something wrong. It doesn't matter if they know what they did was wrong. Now, I'm not going to say every person, but you know, this group of people decided that they did not want to stand on what was right. So if you just came in, I'm not going to rehash what I talked about. You're going to have to rewind the video. But the purpose of this video, one of the reasons was they're going around saying that the CTO call is a fake call. The call is not fake, okay? There's nothing fake about the call. But what I did find is that somebody else did similar to what the original audio lady, I don't remember her exact title, they did something similar to bring out the background voices. And if you didn't hear it, I'm going to replay it because in this call, you hear what sounds to be Nolan gasping for breath, okay? And then you hear somebody say, is the MFer dead? That's what they say. So, and for the people who may think this call is fake, you can go right to their website to get it, okay? You can go right to the website to get this particular call.
In a different way, as I just explained in what he wrote.
How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just thinking. I don't know. Like we're going down.
So I mean, why has the police done anything? Why have the detectives not done anything? I mean, it's clear why they haven't done anything, because they're covering it up. I've said this in other videos. This is, you know, judges, doctors, you know how white tea folks do. They look at people based on their positions and, oh, this is that person or that person. me, I treat everybody nice and the same. If you want to act stupid, I can get right with your ass, okay? But I don't treat people and say, oh, this is a judge. Oh, I need to respect him or her. No, I respect everybody, okay? And if you want to, get with it, I can get with it too. But, I respect everybody. So if you want to know, like, why are they not saying anything? This is what they do. I mean, have you guys ever been? I mean, it's happened to me a few times. I can't really remember it, but I've been in places where I had to check a white tee purse and another one turn around and I check all of them. I say, wait a minute, you got the right one, okay? Because I will read all of you hoes, okay? You can't gang up on me, not me. Wrong one. This is what they do. So I'm not surprised. So when people say, well, why didn't nobody say anything? This is what they do. They'll come to your chat. They don't like what you say and put little weird shit in your chat. This is what they do, okay? I'm starting to think, and I hate to use the word jealous, but I don't know. Now that I'm looking at this other boy who allegedly barked, because that's who they think did it, allegedly, okay? That's all you have to say is allegedly. Bart, I think that you did have something to do with this, okay? I think it, and I ain't changing it, okay? So, if he had something to do with this, or if he didn't, why are they saying his name? Why would they be saying his name? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, some things, guys, we don't have to figure out. Somebody was like, well, why would they say that on the audio? What a stupid question. I mean, I've called places, been on hold, and been saying all type of shit. I just realized that, I didn't know that you're recorded before they actually answer. So I learned something. Who knows why they said it? But does it matter why they said it? It doesn't matter why they said it, but we should be glad they said it because nobody can tell me different. The only thing that I don't understand is, did they bring him back on the boat? Because now that I know that the GPS can be manipulated, did something happen somewhere else and they brought him back to the boat? Because what I want you guys to understand is that picture that they're saying that they, they had the little boat party. Warren confirmed that they had a boat party, a swim party. Warren confirmed that. He said that they did on the 4th. Okay, so that was confirmed. So now it's making me think back to when people said something happened to him at the party. So did something happen to him at the party and they take him on a boat? I don't know. But what I do know is that audio is real. Okay, I know the audio is real. Now, Ben Crump did say that the autopsy was released. But, and I've been saying this too, because people have been, sending me messages saying the autopsy is released. I said they've been saying since I can remember that they were not releasing the autopsy. So them saying that it's complete, I don't know what that means because they said that they're not releasing it. So them completing it, I don't know how that even helps us. So they have, issued this to the public that the autopsy has been released. But what I want y'all to understand is they've been playing in our faces for the last week. And now the autopsy is released. But guess what they told y'all before they released this autopsy? They have told y'all that Nolan was using, I'm not even going to say it. Y'all know what they said he was using. I'm not even finna give them the satisfaction. They have planted seeds that he was highly intoxicated. They've been saying that. So now they're going to release it after they have done this slander campaign on a victim, which they always do. On every single Black person, I shouldn't say every single, but generally, when Black people have been victimized, they did the same thing to George Floyd. They did the same thing to Trayvon Martin. It don't even matter if you ain't never been to jail before in your life. They will find a reason to slander you. Now, they're talking about how drunk he was, but did Bart provide alcohol to underage? I mean, I'm just saying, what y'all think? So Ben Crump stated that, at some point they did reach out to them. I don't know, if they're going to give them the results over the phone. And he seems a little bit confused as to, what, if anything, that they're going to give them. So we're just going to watch a little clip of that.
It's complete, and because media started calling us, and I know the district attorney's office, they have reached out to the family, but we did not get a chance to talk to them before the news told us the autopsy was complete. We are scheduled to have a meeting with the district attorney's office next week. Whether that means they're going to reveal the autopsy results is unknown to us, but we're certainly going to inquire because, we have been begging for transparency the whole way. And we've tried to be very transparent with them. And we hope that they will be transparent with us, especially his family.
Yeah. So Ben, can they not release information to you? Because I know that, to explain the process, because it goes to a grand jury. Now, do you know if they're going to be transparent with you or you don't, and how much you think they can or will reveal?
Well, I think they can. They can do what they want. We do cases all across America, and the district attorney and the governmental authorities have the authority to release information as they so deem to release it. Don Lemon, they could be transparent, or they can say, well, we're not going to release anything until the grand jury. And then that means we don't know when we're going to see it, because nobody knows when they're going to conclude their report. And George Floyd and Breonna Taylor cases like that, where you had governmental authorities trying to be transparent, they would release information to try to build public trust. What are they going to do in Mississippi? We do not know if they're going to release it. They may say, we're not going to release anything at all until the grand jury and the grand jury are aware that the autopsy was complete.
So basically, again, the autopsy was released. Not released. The autopsy was complete. But what the heck does that even mean? I guess I don't understand. What does a completed autopsy mean if you are not going to release it? So I didn't really jump on the bandwagon of, the autopsy being complete, because I guess I don't understand how it actually impacts us if we don't even know what the autopsy actually says. Now, I want to play this other video because I want you guys to understand that I believe the people are closer now than they ever were. And this is why people running around talking about they're going to get a lawyer, because for some reason they think that we scared of a motherfucking lawyer. Oops, I done cussed. They think that we're scared of lawyers. We ain't scared of no damn lawyer. We don't care about that. So I want to show you guys some more videos that were sent to me. And it looks like the people been concentrating on Bart.
Let's talk about how a historical last name, centuries of systemic racism, sprinkled with a little nepotism, may be helping with the Nolan Wells cover-up. The man in this picture is St. Cyr Seymour. He is thought to be the founding settler of the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and everyone in that area with the last name Seymour descend from him. If you're not a born descendant of the Seymour clan, the easiest way to get that name is to marry into the family, like Warren Hudson's bio mom did in 2020 when she married David Seymour. This man is Jared Seymour. He's a relative of David Seymour, and he is the co-host of a podcast named The Brown Water Banter. On July 3rd, 2026, Jared Seymour had Captain Mike Strickland of MDMR Marine Patrol on his podcast to talk about Operation Dry Boating, which was to stop people operating boats under the influence. I wonder how that worked out for them. Nolan Wells went missing on July 4th. MDMR Marine Patrol was the first agency to respond to that missing persons report. They launched an investigation that included speaking to witnesses and also collecting the boat GPS data. On the 4th page of the MDMR report that has recently been released to the public, we find Captain Mike Strickland's name has supervising officer. Coincidence? On pages 8 and 9 of the MDMR report, we see an officer, Jay Strickland, go out to Wyatt Pyron's house to download GPS data off of his boat. Now, Jay Strickland is not Mike Strickland, but one could easily deduce that Officer Jay Strickland is related to Captain Mike Strickland. We know from this report that the type of GPS tracker that was used on Wyatt Pyron's boat was a Garmin GPS tracker. So I asked the question, can a Garmin GPS tracker be altered or changed after a boating trip? And the answer is yes. It's right up here in my Google search. So what we do know, on July 5th, Officer Jay Strickland goes out to Wyatt Pyron's house to download the GPS coordinates. In the MDMR report, you can see the supposed full trip of July 4th. Then you see multiple times in which the GPS tracker was turned on but wasn't in the water. Then we have the download from Officer Jay Strickland. A simple Google search proved that you can alter the GPS plotting coordinates and tracking information after a trip, either in the device on the boat or by downloading it and taking it into an editing software. So what do we have? We have the perfect storm for a cover-up in the Nolan Wells case.
Now, I know sometimes you guys ask me, like, I'm going to link these in my, in the description of my video. So if you guys, want to show it, on your channel, because somebody actually sent me this and I watched it. I was like, oh, they're good. But wait, it's another one. TikTok over there solving this case. So again, this is what all of the, the I'm going to sue coming from. I mean, why? I guess. But wait a minute. Listen to this one right here, guys.
It's time for us to introduce a new character in the Nolan Wells case. This business in the front, party in the back mullet wearer is Bart Edmondson Jr. I'm going to refer to him as Bartholomew Jr. Jr. is a chip off the old block. This is Dr. Bart Edmondson. That's right, Junior's daddy. So you have Bartholomew Jr. and Bartholomew Sr., but we're only going to be talking about Bartholomew Jr. Bartholomew Jr. graduated from Ocean Springs High School in 2023. That's right. Bartholomew Jr. is 2 years older than everyone. He more than likely is the person that helped supply the copious amounts of alcohol that led to underage drinking on July 4th. We were introduced to Bartholomew Jr. by none other than Warren Hudson. This is one of Warren's buddies that drove one of the 3 boats out to Horn Island that day. We also know him from something else.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Thorn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Shut the fuck up!
Doesn't that all sound the same? All of these calls are saying pretty much the same thing, with the exception of now I'm able to hear grasping. So these people don't even know each other.
I know that people hear other things besides Bartholomew Jr.'s name being mentioned. I have listened to that audio without reading the transcripts, and the only thing that I can make out is Nolan's name, which is proof that he was on board when they made that call to see Toe. Also, I want to point out, in this picture above, that is a picture of Wyatt's 22-foot Triton boat. It seats a maximum of 7 people. I just don't think that what we believe happened on that boat. I believe that whatever happened to Nolan happened on.
You see the similarities in all of these I'm not going to say in all of these content creators, but they getting hot on Bart's ass. Okay, they are. So why you jumping up, want to sue? You sound dumb. The worst thing you can do is, when you're telling lies, is sue somebody, because let me just tell y'all how that works. You sue them, they can sue you. Okay, it's nothing to sue somebody. They can counter sue your ass too. Just sit down. Okay, but what you're going to do is open up a can of worms for your ass, because let's say you sue me. Okay, I get a lawyer, I sue your ass back. Okay, or I get my lawyer. I don't got to get a lawyer. And now, you know what? I get to ask you everything about what happened to Nolan. I can ask you now all of these questions, and guess what you have to do? You got to answer them. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know why you saying that you suing folks, because now this information can be used against you in a criminal law, and you keep changing your stories. That's going to even be worse. So you saying you're going to sue somebody because they're talking about what the evidence states and what y'all said in the inconsistent lies, you're not hurting though. Those people are not wrapped up in some unaliving of anybody. So you got to have a lot of white nerves to think that you allegedly can be the person that unalived somebody and then get an attitude because you don't like what the people are breaking down online, to the fact that you say, oh, I'm going to sue them. Just like old white folk. Just like old white folk. Who does that?
The mainland between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. We know that Trayson says that Warren started calling him around 9:15 saying he was worried about Nolan. That would mean that this infamous pool party picture would be from July 4th. And the reason I believe it's from July 4th.
Before she gets into saying her reason for believing it was on July 4th, let me tell y'all why I believe it was on July 4th. This picture had already been posted on July 4th. It's just like what the kids do, honey. They be taking their pictures, honey, and they be posting as these things are happening. But then something happened to Nolan. And that's why I say, I don't know if something happened at the pool party and they took him back on the boat. I don't know, but what I do know is what I heard on the boat, because we were able to hear that. But I'm saying this is another piece that I don't understand. They take a picture on July 4th, they post it on July 4th, but go back and delete it. So I started to think something happened to Nolan. So shoot, let us delete, because we just posted a picture. We got to delete that. But guess what the dummies forgot to do? This is why I say when you lying is just too much to remember. I'm going to just tell the truth. I don't give a damn if you like it or not, okay? After you went back and deleted that picture, you didn't know that. Did y'all know? Because I never go on Threads. What you put on your Instagram, it feeds to Threads. they didn't know it or forgot it. You know, when you're lying, it's just too much to remember. Okay, it's just too much. I'm too old to try to remember all this shit. I'm not doing all of that. So the picture that they deleted, it was already on Threads. Do y'all see how this don't make sense? Why did you go back and delete the picture? The only thing that happened now is Nolan is missing. So why would you need to delete a picture and then say, oh, that picture was from this other date, but you posted it on the 4th? I mean, you could have posted it on the 4th, but that's too many uncertainties, the things that surrounding that just don't sound, it just don't make sense. Okay, Nolan missing, you don't know what happened to him, you didn't see him, you posted a picture and now you're saying, oh, that picture was from the 26th. So what made you go on the 4th and delete it then? I believe that it happened on the 4th as well. I just don't know how they got from the pool party to the boat. It would apply some kind of premeditation then, because what happened, you know, and people have stated that he got jumped or beat up or something at the pool party, but I don't know if there's really any real information to back it up. But we can definitely hear what happened on the boat. But there is some discrepancies with what they're saying this picture was taken on. It's a dude with his on his chest that say USA. Why would he be doing this a week before the 4th? Then they talk about the boy Bart's schedule. Allegedly, he was busy and doing all of these different things in school. And even his mammy came out and said he's been busy. He was only allegedly, I guess, available on the 4th, which makes us know then how the hell was he available the week before the 4th to take this picture?
Is because the guy on the front row at the end, that is Bartholomew Jr. Bartholomew Jr. plays football for the University of Wyoming. And on June 26th and June 27th, when they say that this picture was taken, there was a fellowship for Christian athletes of Wyoming youth camp being.
So listen to what she's saying, guys. When I was listening to her video, she actually gave me a different way of looking at this. What she says is there was allegedly something going on the other day that they said this picture was taken. So what she's saying is, how would Bart have been there? For one, his mama claimed that, you know, the 4th was really the only day that he was available. Then how was he here the week before? That don't make sense. So I'm gonna rewind it just a little because she makes some interesting points.
Bartholomew Jr. plays football for the University of Wyoming. And on June 26th and June 27th, when they say that this picture was taken, there was a fellowship for Christian athletes of Wyoming youth camp being held at the university. And that organization likes to recruit student athletes, has coaches and volunteers for that youth camp. That would explain the statement that Bartholomew Jr. made saying he was out of town. Clearly, he was not out of town on the 4th because we have heard his name mentioned in the audio of him helping to tow and get Wyatt's boat going. The only time he could have been out of town was on June 26th and June 27th, which would make this July 4th, and that is Noah in the background. It also explains why Nolan.
People keep saying the pool party was before July 4th. I don't understand if you can't listen or you don't understand what she's saying. She has explained it, child. You want me to rewind it? Because we're a little bit too old to not be able to follow instructions. I'm going to rewind it again because they keep saying the same thing. She has already broke it down to why she says that she doesn't believe that this party was a week before. Let me rewind it now, okay? Because y'all keep out. Maybe you're not listening. Let me rewind it again.
For that youth camp. That would explain the statement that would mean that this infamous pool party picture would be from July 4th. And the reason I believe it's from July 4th is because the guy on the front row at the end, that is Bartholomew Jr. Bartholomew Jr. plays football for the University of Wyoming. And on June 26th and June 27th, when they say that this picture was taken, there was a fellowship for Christian athletes of Wyoming youth camp being held at the university. And that organization likes to recruit student athletes as coaches and volunteers for that youth camp. That would explain the statement that Bartholomew Jr. made saying he was out of town. Clearly, he was not out of town on the 4th because we have heard his name mentioned in the audio of him helping to tow and get Wyatt's boat going. The only time he could have been out of town was on June 26th and June 27th, which would make this July 4th, and that is Noah in the background. It also explains why Nolan's phone was showing 2 different locations. The Snapchat location was showing Ava Delta Delta Delta's house. That is where Javon's mom went to go get the phone. But the Life 360 app was showing a different location, which I believe was in Warren's truck at his bio mom's house, which is 10 minutes away from Ava Delta Delta Delta's house.
They had his phone. And when his mother was looking for his phone when he was missing, there were 2 different ways to identify it, either a Snapchat location or a Life 360 location. They showed different locations, which is very possible because one updates automatically, the other only updates when you open the app.
And there you have it, Bartholomew Jr.
So I'm actually going to do that. So when she explained that your Snapchat, depending on where you last opened it, is going to have that information, and then the Life 360. I'm actually going to do an experiment on that. We're going to open our Snapchat up at another location. We're going to close it down. And then we're going to put the phone in another location and see what it says. Because I don't know. If you guys recall, the mother did say, she says, she didn't understand what was going on with this phone and that it was showing multiple locations. And I did do an experiment on the Life 360. I learned if you're on the Life 360, let's say your battery died, that is your last known location. Okay. Now, if you get somewhere else and charge your phone up, it now shows the new location. But if your phone dies on the Life 360, wherever the battery died at, that is where it's going to show you last word. Now, if you get somewhere now and recharge your phone, now it shows the new location. So I'm going to do an experiment with Snapchat and the 2 locations because I want to see, would it show 2 locations? Because I did hear the mother say that. But based on these videos that these TikTokers done, honey, they listen. I'm telling you, these folks is doing this is their job. They're content creators. A lot of them are doing this full time. So you can't nobody tell me that they don't know what they're doing. They're bringing factual information. They're not making this up. They're literally using the information. I have that MMR whatever report. Like in this video right here,
timeline. I know
she talks about this report. I have that report. She's just breaking it down. So it's very interesting that we have the district attorney, we have these people that's been in law enforcement for years, and they don't see anything. This is why we're talking about this. We are not stupid. We were not born yesterday. We wasn't born last week. We wasn't born last month, okay? This seemed like some racist type shit is what it seemed like. And now we got the white tea folks attacking attacking the victim. You know, this is what they do, attacking the mother, attacking the victim. This is what they do. So we ain't stopping. We're not stopping. We're not stopping. What are y'all saying in the chat? Let me read and see what y'all got in here. Y'all got some super chats. LaShonda, thank you for becoming a member. Now, I know I got a lot of jewels, but y'all, I mean, if it's not 1,000, I ain't not reading. Well, I might can read some of them because it'd be too many of them. Butterfly Empress. Can Christine request or sue to get the rest of Nolan's throat and lungs to complete the independent autopsy? Well, here's the deal. So how can I explain this? They never told her she couldn't get the throat and lungs, but what they did say is they needed to complete their investigation. Okay, now their investigation is complete, but remember what else they said, Butterfly Empress. They said, we're presenting this case to the grand jury. And since we're presenting this case to the grand jury, we won't release the results. Why? I mean, the releasing the results don't say who did anything. And keep in mind, y'all, I feel like they playing in our faces again because presenting it to the grand jury, but who is the person that did whatever they did or whatever? So what are you presenting it to the grand jury and say, yeah, he died and, this is what the witnesses say? I don't buy it. So I'm sure at some point she can, but I don't think it's at this point because they have never said she couldn't get it. They just said that we're, doing our own investigation. But it really sounded like they really did say she did, and just didn't say it because why would you send the body to Washington, D.C., let them folks, well, Colin Kaepernick paid for it, but anyways, they really didn't get a report because his throat wasn't there. Pictures of the scene wasn't there. All of these things that a medical examiner would know, another medical examiner would need to make a cause of death, like to say what was the cause of death. So I'm sure at some point she can. I don't know if it's at, to this point. I think we're pretty much at the waiting game. He was strangled or slashed. I mean, if they're not telling us anything, we have common sense that we can start to figure it out ourselves. Why did they not send his throat along? What was so, different that they felt like they needed to keep his throat? Okay. And then it seems that he's gasping for air. Yeah, I believe that too. I believe that what you said. Let's see. Oh Lord, the devil is alive in Mississippi. Yeah, I know. Gelato, thank you for the $9.99. I mean, I didn't even have to hear that to know that. I mean, you can just tell how they're moving. So the first thing they say, it wasn't a drowning. Nah, how do you know that? Like, who would not want to get a death investigation when it comes to somebody that they love, their son, your loved ones? This is crazy. You don't just say, oh, it was an accidental drowning. I mean, could he swim? I mean, what are you saying? If they left him on the island, how did they know that he was missing? Let me read that again. You said if they left him on the island, how did they know that he was missing? I don't think I understand the question. I don't think he was ever missing. It seems like just something that they did after whatever they had did to him. Sad part is Nolan left this world with no real friends. Warren, hey, what up, Warren? Warren Hawkins, yep, listen. Y'all, we got to be careful for the people we hang around. We're living in some strange times. My son going to the movies with a white boy, and they don't know, but I will be there because I don't know that. I don't know if he a KKK or what. I will be in the movies, honey. They ain't gonna know that I'm there, but I'll be there because I don't know what these folks be on. I'm on whatever you on. I will be there in the back, actually somewhere in there looking. I don't know what these folks is crazy. We can't trust them. Okay, so I'm gonna read some of these. Jules, thank you for the 10 Jules. Griffin, Marlene Myers, thank you for the 30 Jules. We got Virtual 69, thank you for the 440 Jules. We got Sheila, thank you for the 100 Jules. Leisure Lady, thank you for the 80 Jules. We got London Sky, thank you for the 2 Jules. We got Leisure Lady, thank you for the 2 Jules. Madeline, thank you for the 2 Jules. We got Nina Hodges, thank you for the 200 Jules. And Sheila again, thank you for the 10 Jules. What else? What else? What else did I? Wait a minute, I'm missing something here. Then we have Cassandra. Thank you for the 550 jewels. Vonlin, thank you for the 200 jewels. Vonlin, I like that name. Vonlin, I like that. Miss Pooh, thank you for the 350 jewels. Sherry, thank you for the 30 jewels, and thank you for the 10 jewels. So what else did y'all say in the chat? What y'all saying in the chat, honey? Because I'm not gonna stop talking about this. And see, this is the thing with me. I don't like to feel like people are trying to intimidate folks. See, that makes me angry. And then I really give it to you. So you should have just shut the hell up, okay? We ain't stopping. As a matter of fact, we just started. We just started because the pressure is being applied, okay? And it looks like we're applying the pressure in the right area. Thank you, Divine Light, for the 650 jewels. You know, you can't tell me you ain't got nothing to hide and you acting like this. It's definitely something to hide. See, you know, sometimes them white tea kids is nasty, dirty, and low down. Because who says that? Y'all gotta rewind this again. Who says these things? See, I am starting to understand you guys a little bit different. You know, I done told my son, you know, because I heard that little boy he was talking to on the phone, and I said, wait a minute. The way I said, is he talking to you? Like, what was I had to get a hello, little boy? Because little boy, let me make sure you understand. Who is you talking to? Yeah. Not over here. You better take your tantrums to your mammy and your daddy. I will be in the movies because I don't know if this little boy is retarded or what, but I will be there. Because you ain't crazier than me. I bet you ain't. Okay. Capricorn, who report him missing okay. You said who reported him missing? So according to the report, they were the ones that said that he was missing. But I guess you probably are trying to say, why would they report him missing if they said he was with the girl? I think that's what you're trying to say, because what it says is who report him missing if if they left him. So I guess that's what you're trying to say. Maybe you type it on your phone, but I don't believe that they ever thought he was missing. I think this was all an alibi. I mean, use your common sense. Nothing about this makes sense or adds up. It's all over the damn place. All over the place. If you did something to somebody and they were with you, I guess you better try to say something. I don't know. I don't go around unaliving my friends. I don't know what that's all about. But I don't believe he was ever missing. Okay, she said, yeah. Okay, that was your question. Yes, so I don't believe he was ever missing. I believe this was their alibi. But again, if you say, and I said this myself, if he was truly with a girl, why do you even think he missing? That I said that, like, if I know my friend is really with somebody, they're not missing. But if you did something nefarious and now you got to establish an alibi, I guess you need to start doing it. I believe that it's not just them involved. I believe it is their parents involved as well. Y'all better understand that a Black life don't mean nothing to those people, okay? But I want you guys to hear this call again, because it's the same but slightly different than the other ones that I've heard.
This was really, really jarring, but here is what he came up with when he cleaned up the audio in a different way, as I just explained in what he wrote.
Oh my God, how far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
This sounds like a struggle. Something, he said the MFer, yeah, these are some animals. They run around here calling black folks.
I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna come back up. But what I want to leave you guys with this, right? They obviously did something. The boy was about to go to college, D1, prospect allegedly for the NFL, maybe. However, if he's gasping for something, something obviously had to be pushed down his throat. Something. You don't gas or you'll be coughing, like coughing, coughing, coughing. Seemed like he was struggling to breathe. Or whoever was doing something while they're on the phone, and they're so dumb to be on the phone while and not knowing that these people are recording too. You know what I mean? When you are so barbarian and such an animal that you can take someone's life for whatever reason, maybe rituals, whatever it is, you getting abducted in something, whatever that is, your day is here. Mississippi is about to burn, y'all. They're going to try to do whatever they can, but the internet streets are so thick. They got money, but we have a machine. I want y'all to understand that. TikTok is a machine. And that's all I could tell you. TikTok is a machine of people who will go investigate. They will say what they got to say. You will get threatened by lawsuits and whatnot. Just make sure you use your words clearly. Everything I'm saying on here is alleged. I'm listening to videos. We are trying to, catch up together as an audience. Please like this live, share it or whatnot. I am about to go down, but I am gonna come back up. I always try to do a 2-hour mark, right? And try not to go beyond that unless the video is a little above, right? But y'all, please follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. This is, I think, my 10th live. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for watching with me because I'm confused. Y'all, I never in my life, you know when something's going on, but they keep putting like a mystery thing. Like they just keep sticking in the pot and you got people put in place to try to cover up stuff and we just not effing having it. What I just made a post on TikTok. When someone harms us, don't cry about it. Cry for the family only, right? Feel bad for the family only. But what we have to start doing, these people don't get rich on their own. You have to start hitting their whole generation of people. If they're rich, they got rich cousins, friends, whatever. Anybody in that circle, whether they are related or not, you don't fucking buy from them. You don't buy from the people who sell their products in their stores. That's how you shut motherfuckers down. Okay? That's how you get justice. Everything is a number game. Everybody wants to be on a totem pole. Okay? I'm not calling on names, but I'm just telling you how things really work. Everything is a number game, you guys. Everything is a number game. So when you go around say, okay, you want to do something stupid, then you sitting here lying about it instead of being straight coming, right? So this is what we're gonna do to you. Let me see what type of product that you sell and make sure I don't buy from them. And hit the stores. Like you know how they doing that shut you down? That's what has to happen, y'all. Let me tell you something. You will make them tell on themselves. Okay? I'm telling you, you will make a MF tell on themselves. What I believe there's two big heads involved, not the children. And I will say just that. But I want to allude to nothing else. And this is allegedly. They're going back and forth. That's why that 50 grand allegedly is maybe out. Because and you can put it out even though your child is not right. We don't know what happened to this child. But we are speculating what happened to him, right? But I'm gonna go down. You guys out just open up an online school. You're tired of your kids on the grid. We're gonna do this, all the I do credit recovery, everything strictly online. It's called Nativa, is Nativa Alliance High School. Well, it's community college on paper. I'm not community college, community high school on paper. But the website is Nativa Alliance High School.com. Okay. So I'm finna end this and I'll be back up. You guys follow. I'll be right back up. We finna get in the business. We finna see who's talking shit this time. I seen, and I want to talk about the Charleston White thing. The lady from Texas that everybody is kind of afraid of. She's an activist. That lady, she just put out that he's an informant. Yep, she did. She said that whoever's in these gun organization, and if you have felonies, do not F with them. So I'll put that video out later. But anywho, I'm gonna go down, and I will be right back up. So be looking for me. I will share it. When I shout out to TikTok. Shout out to Instagram. Shout out to my. I ain't gonna even lie. I was shocked more than anything to see how X ride or die with people. Y'all been riding with me before anybody else has, and this is my 10th live, for real, for real. So I definitely thank you guys for watching. Yesterday I did good on X and YouTube. It was the first time, but I know I got to get a set time that I come on and stuff, and let you know when I'm coming on, so I won't be all over the place. But thank you guys. I will be back on. Just be watching for the smoke.
Looking for a K-12 education that goes beyond the textbook, right from the comfort of home? Welcome to a new standard of online learning.
Beyond general education, our students dive into specialized virtual labs for real-world job readiness. Genealogy lab, historical lab, civil law, and our media and public speaking lab.
We prepare global citizens with immersive Spanish and French language tracks. And because we're proudly Florida-based,